My name is Chris Franklin. I am a ticketed Red Seal painter, decorator by trade, um, with an industrial endorsement, specializing log and timber, new construction, restoration, mass timber. Been in business for over 20 years. Uh, I love what I do. I enjoy the personal ambience of the logs and the wood and working with my hands and making it just right. So one of the major issues with a homeowner private restoration is the lack of experience. And lack of experience translates into just a big mess at the end of the day. We're not just dealing with a wood fence here or some sort of shack in the bush. It's someone's log home. It's your log home. It's your pride and joy. It's a monetary investment. So it's critical that you do your due diligence and hire a professional to do the work. Coming across log deterioration for a homeowner can be a really daunting expense. Uh, as a professional, we can restore this with an epoxy resin and or replace the rotten log or timber. But for a homeowner, you know, it's a dangerous endeavor and it could lead into big issues. As soon as you start cutting into that log, there could be live wires in behind it, electrocution hazard. Once you start cutting into that log, it could be a major structural load-bearing timber. You could have a big problem at that point as well. So when in doubt, call a professional out. In our trade, we use very special tools that are specific for our work. So generally, the average homeowner doesn't have these specialty tools on hand. Um, it makes all the difference in the world when you have the right equipment and tool. So here we are, we're putting 2 coats of clear, just regular clear coat on the inside of this building. It's going to be extremely durable. It's going to buy 25 to 30 years of service life. But in actually doing this restoration, we came across a real common mistake. And that is, these big giant gaps in the window frames, stuffed in with just some crappy insulation. And the customer was really, really concerned about all the cold air coming into her home. And after getting this trim off, now I can see why. There's some haphazard, attempts with spray foam, but the insulation is just hanging. Look at that. It's not even there. And if you come and take a look at this, check that out. I mean, all your energy is going right out the window, just, literally. And if you see here, this is the window that we were looking in from the outside. And there's nothing in behind here. It's just completely a piece of wood slabbed onto the window, and gateway for moisture, gateway for insects, and heat loss. And then if you take a look at this, I mean, look at this. You could drive a truck through there. That needs to be chinked. This whole entire house needs to be fully chinked. So what we're going to do here is when we're chinking the logs, we're going to chink all these windows into place. Now, when this place is finished, it's going to be airtight. She'll probably save 25 or 30% on her energy bill here. And not to mention the comfort. You're not sitting here with breezes blowing around and insects getting in your home. So it's going to be a much better space. Here we go. We have another homeowner repair that is done wrong. A big mistake is using this open-celled spray foam to fill cracks and checks. And it's just not the right material to use in your log home. It absorbs moisture like a sponge, and you can't get into the fine cracks, and it's also not washable. So this is a no-no. Now, log chinking for the homeowner is a nightmare. And many of you out there have probably tried to chink on your own and just after the first 10 minutes said, forget it. Chinking is an art. Chinking takes years of experience to make it look just right. Um, and it's not just about the look, it's about its function. Uh, a homeowner might take his time or her time to do a really good job, but then later find that it's torn because of improper installation. Chinking has very specific tolerances and methods, and you have to follow them to the T so the product will last. Having the chinking tear, rip, pull away are just the unsightly application of chunky chinking spread over the logs. Just looks really poor, and you can really tell it was a do-it-yourselfer job when it's done. Um, Compared to professional, there is no contest, and very expensive to clean up. When it comes to pests and pest control, there are a lot of products on the market for the homeowner to deal with these sort of issues. But again, calling a professional to deal with your pests is the way to go. The industrial grade and commercial grade pesticides definitely are going to solve the problem before some easy peasy Home Depot, anti-ant traps or something like that. Now, borate treatments is something that we do. You would want to apply the borate uh, to the bare wood to allow the salts to soak into the wood to prevent any sort of insect damage in the future. Um, you need a pesticide license to use borates. The homeowner just can't pick it up at the local home hardware. So again, professional grade materials for professional job. Time is critical when it comes to finishing a log home. We don't want water to hit these logs when they're bare. We don't want the UV to start pounding on these logs because it'll darken the wood just naturally. And also mold and fungus spores and insect infiltration. All of this can happen with your logs bare. So it's like important to get started and to get it finished. If you want your place to look good, you got to use the right material. And doing that will save you time, money, and actually give your home years more service than the cheap run of the mill stain bought from a hardware store. So it's imperative that you use the right product for the right wood, for the right temperature, the right climate, um, and it's got to look just perfect. So here we are doing another project, restoration project, beautiful location, um, blasted logs. Logs were really, really, really weathered and damaged. And as you see, the siding over here wasn't so bad. Um, and today, after the blast, we're going to do some color samples. Now, the owner has picked this particular color, and I'm doing a pigment load of 100%, and I'm going to do a 25% coat just so the customer can see what it's going to look like when it's done on their actual house. And I really like the color. Burnt almond. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they look at a color chart book and then they pick their color off of the book and expect it to look exactly like that on the actual logs themselves, which doesn't really happen like that. Um, in this particular case, we're dealing with a spruce house. Now, if this was fir, it would be more red undertones, and this color would look completely different on it. And if it was cedar, it would be completely different once again, and pine, completely different once again. And the actual age of the wood um, and the way that it's weathered over the years really affects the color. And I would have to say this job is going to last 10 years. A little bit of maintenance on the south wall and a little bit on the west wall, but our surface prep is clean, and this coating is going to be tight. Definitely the difference between a professional job and a homeowner job at the end of the day is the dollar sign. You may spend a little bit more for the professional, but you'll gain it back in the quality of work, resale value, and the longevity. A job that lasts for 10 years is money saved when it only lasts 2 years done by a homeowner. We've worked on some of the largest buildings in North America. Some of the largest log cabins, some of the largest timber frames, some of the largest mass timber structures. Uh, at the end of the day, no job is too big or too small. We love them all. We truly care about what we do, and it's always about doing the best work possible for the homeowner or the customer.